Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Another tragic pedestrian fatality in Prince George's. The latest occurred late yesterday afternoon in Morningside. 77-year-old Sally McCoy was crossing the street in the 6500 block of Suitland Road around 3 p.m. when she was hit. McCoy was pronounced dead on the scene. The driver remained on the scene until police arrived and was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Meantime, there was a fatal collision involving a motorcyclist and a pedestrian in Seat Pleasant yesterday afternoon. 57-year-old Reginald Thorns was driving eastbound in the 6400 block of Central Avenue when he collided with a pedestrian. Both were rushed to a nearby hospital where Thorns was pronounced dead. The pedestrian is still alive but has suffered serious injuries. This crash is still under investigation. If you have any information on the incident, you're asked to reach out to Prince George's Police at 301-731-4422. Well, tomorrow is National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. Maryland State Police and other law enforcement agencies are taking part in the national effort. The Drug Enforcement Agency event provides an easy and safe way to dispose of prescription drugs while educating the public about the potential misuse of medications. DEA Special Agent in Charge Gerard Forjay says that this is the perfect opportunity to clean out your medicine cabinet.
Any prescription pills, it can be dropped off safely, anonymously. We dispose of them in an environmentally friendly way. It's a great opportunity for people to get rid of old, unused, expired medications from their medicine cabinet. What we're finding at DEA is that oftentimes those medicines that are in people's medicine cabinets or in their homes, there's a potential for abuse. We often see it as a gateway to drug abuse, to people taking those pills, unfortunately. And that message right now is ever so more important because of the amount of fake pills that we're seeing in this country that are killing a lot of Americans.
At the last prescription drug take-back event in October 2022, state police collected almost 600 pounds of unneeded prescription drugs. To find out the nearest drop-off location near you, go to DEATakeback.com. Well, access to capital for minority businesses was the focus of a small business roundtable meeting this morning in Glendale. Maryland Senator Ben Cardin joined the Christian Business Network for the event at Reed Temple AME Church.
We know that traditionally underserved communities have had a very difficult time, particularly getting startup capital, getting venture capital, getting smaller loans. We want to make sure there are more avenues available. That's why we're looking at making permanent the Community Advantage Program, why the Biden administration is looking for creating new financial institutions that will give loans in underserved communities and smaller loans and less costly loans.
Representatives from the Small Business Administration, Industrial Bank, and Operation Hope were in attendance. They are calling on lawmakers to do more to help minority business owners acquire the funding they need to start or stay in business. Well, Prince George's police need your help in finding a missing man. This is 39-year-old Joseph Laquinte. Police say he was last seen in the 50th block of Castleton Drive in Upper Marlboro yesterday. He's 6 feet tall and weighs about 180 pounds. Laquinte has black hair, brown eyes, and wears glasses. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to contact police. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Coming up, Camp Embers, a special program aimed at attracting girls to firefighting careers. Stay with us.
Celebrating 25 years, it's Maryland Day. Explore hundreds of events and learn about the University of Maryland's dedication to do good. Saturday, April 29th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Free parking and admission. More at marylandday.umd.edu.
I don't know about that, man.
Excuse me. Right, Econ?
Come on, man.
No.
You're kidding, right?
Actually, I do know. I'll text. You drive.
Welcome back. A Landover mother pleads guilty to stealing the identity of her own son and using it to acquire fraudulent COVID-19 loans. Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown says 58-year-old Shanita Richardson admitted to identity theft and stealing more than $100,000. Richardson was given a 10-year suspended sentence. However, she will have to serve 18 months of home detention, 5 years of probation, and she must pay more than $270,000 in restitution. Well, a suspected carjacker is off the streets today thanks to PGPD's vehicle enforcement team. On Thursday, an officer noticed a car along Town Park Boulevard in Suitland that matched a vehicle reportedly stolen at gunpoint on Tuesday in College Park. Police say when they stopped the car, they found the suspect with a loaded handgun. He has been identified as 20-year-old Jawan Anderson. Anderson is charged with unauthorized use of a vehicle and firearm offenses. And a new summer program is looking to expose young girls to careers as firefighters. For the first time ever, the Prince George's Fire Department is hosting a girls-only program called Camp Embers. The two-day camp will run Saturday, June 24th and Sunday, June 25th at the agency's Training and Leadership Academy. Fire Chief Tiffany Green, the department's first female fire chief, is a big supporter of the program. According to firefighter Jordan Oglesby, it's important that young girls learn about opportunities in the fire service.
Currently, Prince George's County Fire and EMS is 10% women in this fire service. So what we're looking to do is introduce young women to the fire service, letting them know that in this male-dominated field, that this is also a career for them. Campers will have the opportunity to be immersed into the fire service. So we'll do everything from different drills that simulate fireground activity, hose line deployment, vehicle extrications. We'll also do some EMS introductions, as well as some mental health and nutrition seminars.
And the camp is only open to county girls ages 14 to 18. Applications will be accepted until the end of the month. For more details, you can visit the website on your screen. Well, when you think of NASA, you likely envision rockets, rovers, and astronauts, but the space agency is also home to the largest group of Earth scientists in the world, many of whom are located right here in Prince George's County. With more than 25 satellites in orbit, the agency tracks critical changes all over the globe, from air quality to extreme weather patterns.
So we can really see how the Earth has changed in the last 50 years. So we see changes with vegetation, like deforestation in some areas. We can see where sea level has risen. I think it's really important that we take these data sets and make them available to communities in ways that it's useful to different communities. So NASA has an applied science program where we're really trying to get that data back in the hands of people who need it. So one example is with agriculture. We have satellites that are able to help us better understand when perhaps we might need to plant agricultural fields or when it's time to harvest, based on understanding the soil moisture or the vegetation, the moisture of the vegetation at a given time.
And if you'd like more information about the space agency's earthly activities, you can go to nasa.gov/Earth Day 2023. Well, we have seen him over the years talk about numerous environmental issues. Now, in honor of Earth Day, Patuxent Riverkeeper Fred Tutman will be giving a special TED Talk tomorrow. Tutman is the nation's only African-American riverkeeper. His presentation will explore the connection between diversity and environmental justice and how those ideas and values factor into the race to save the planet.
This is a majority black county, actually, in my lifetime. It wasn't always the case. And I think there's intense environmental interest now in this county as well, with some serious environmental problems. There's some stormwater issues, there's some emergency preparedness issues, there are toxic waste issues within the county. And I think big greens, who don't really speak for everyone, they tend to speak for the people already in the clubs, the people who donate, who volunteer, who participate. And I think there's a presumption somehow that we should follow the leadership of these larger greens. But in truth, they don't really speak for everyone. And I hear that from Asian Americans, I hear that from people in the Hispanic community. So I do think there's a lot of room for inclusion, which I know these movements are talking about, but they're kind of talking about it, again, as an afterthought, right? I think they're defective movements if they don't have us there at the foundation.
And you can catch Tutman's TED Talk tomorrow at Foggy Bottom in the district. For more information on tickets, you can go to tedxfoggybottom.org. Still ahead here on CTV News Sports Talk with Simon Buggs. Stay tuned.
Hey everybody, and coming up in a bit, General Manager Martin Mayhew and Head Coach Ron Rivera of the Commanders speak to the media ahead of the NFL Draft. A player for the Commanders gets suspended for breaking an NFL policy, and 2 players of the UMD men's lacrosse team gets recognized for their great play this season. Don't move.
Thanks for staying with us. Well, it's called Born to Swing, a jazz musical, and it's coming to our area. The Broadway-style show tells the true life story of an entertainment couple, Bud and Lilliet Harris, who operated the first Black-owned nightclub, casino, hotel in Sparks, Nevada in 1945. Performed and written by the Harris's 2 daughters, the performance is about history.
The band is doing the musical arrangements that directly from my mom's chart. So, they're going to get that. And in essence, they're basically going to get the feel of what happened back in the 40s. They're going to get that 40s feel. They're going to get the story of how the nightclub came about and the love story between my mother and my father.
The show basically is a love story about my mom and my dad and how they made history with this club, and is introduced through narration, graphics, singing, and dancing.
And Born to Swing is set for Saturday, May 13th at 6:30 p.m. at the Bowie Center for the Performing Arts. For more information and tickets, go to the website on your screen.
The NFL draft is less than a week away, and the Commanders continue to look at possible selections for their 16th overall pick. The Commanders made a lot of good moves during the offseason, signing multiple quality players, and General Manager Martin Mayhew believes these free agency acquisitions has benefited them going into the draft.
Important to address those needs and to have key players at spots that are value spots. But you got to have a balanced team. You got to have a deep team and a balanced team across the board. And that's what our focus is. Again, what Coach said, I thought in free agency, we added some guys that some starters from other teams, two offensive line starters from very good teams, from playoff teams. Added a linebacker, quality player there. Added Jacoby. So we did some things in free agency that we think will be very beneficial going into our draft. And I feel like we have the ability to go anywhere in this draft.
Also at the press conference, head coach Ron Rivera talks about how stressful the draft process can be.
Well, I found that, there are some things that you can control and other things you can't. So the truth of the matter is, the only time we get stressed is when we get to our pick. For the most part, we just sit here and just wait and see what happens. And like I said, 5 picks from when we do is when we start talking about the, what our clump of guys are and, who they can be for us and who we feel fits best for us. And we just continue to watch and wait, and hopefully the guy that we want the most is still looking at us.
The NFL draft begins on April 27th. Sticking with football, Shaka Toney, defensive end for the Commanders, has been suspended indefinitely for violating the NFL's gambling policy. He is one of 3 players that have been suspended indefinitely for violating this policy. They will be eligible for reinstatement at the end of this upcoming NFL season. Moving on to lacrosse, Terps players Brett Mocker and Luke Weirman were named to the Tewaaraton Award nominee list. This award honors the top male and female lacrosse players in the country. Mocker has had a good season for the Terps, picking up 35 ground balls and has caused 17 turnovers in only 11 games. Weirman has also had a strong season for the Terps. This season he has scooped up 96 ground balls, scored a goal, and dished out 2 assists. Weirman is currently 2nd all-time in program history in faceoff wins with 563 and is ranked 3rd all-time in ground balls with 299. The winner of the award will be announced on June 1st. To wrap up sports, the UMD women's lacrosse squad will be in action tomorrow as they take on the number 2 ranked Northwestern at 8 o'clock. And that is your Friday Sports.
And that's all for our news tonight. We'll see you again on Monday. Have a great weekend.